Things are about to get a bit sentimental, a bit rambly. I want a nice, cozy vibe for this video, so that's why I'm in bed. Um, Feel free to hop into bed yourself, pull up a blanket, maybe make yourself some hot chocolate, because I'm going to tell you about one of my all-time favorite albums. This is an album that has helped me through hard times and continues to do so. From the first second of Nikes, I just feel like I'm thrown into this incredibly warm and welcoming atmosphere. And I don't really know how to articulate how it makes me feel, but besides saying that it makes me feel blonde, maybe if you've already heard this album, you know exactly what I'm trying to say already. But to me, I think blonde is kind of more of a feeling than an album. And if you've listened to this album yourself, you might know what I mean when I say that, because it's really a vibe. Like it's a sound. It's like music, but it's also so much more than music. It's kind of like a wavelength that you put yourself on while enjoying this album, like some kind of hypnotic radio signal coming from your speakers. I actually remember clear as day where I was and what I was doing the first time I put this album on. And I very vividly remember the feeling of not liking it, like at all. I was late to the party for sure. Blonde was released in the summer of 2016, and I only got to it in November of 2017, so pretty much the following year. And it was a cloudy day. I was on campus super early. So I just sat on the steps of my student union building, and I couldn't even finish the album because I just thought it was so boring. Like, I thought Nikes was all right. I skipped Ivy halfway through, which kind of sounds like blasphemy to me now. I really did enjoy Pink and White. I remember saving it at the time, and I just quit the album entirely, probably a third of the way through Solo. So I moved on to whatever it was that was next on my Spotify. Like, okay, not my thing, whatever, day goes on. But anyway, so a few weeks later I tried Blonde again, and again I just couldn't get through it. So time went on. I would dabble with Blonde here and there because I wanted to like it. I really did. I wanted to get it. I wanted to understand what everyone else saw in this album. And I wish I could tell you the exact moment I fell in love with it, but I can't because I don't remember. I just remember suddenly I was listening to Blonde every day for a while. Like for a long time. But what I can tell you is that the period in which I was listening to Blonde, like religiously, was probably the most transformative period of my life. And in many ways, Blonde became the soundtrack to my life for a time. I guess you could say I was definitely transitioning out of blonded life myself, as Frank puts it best on this album. And in a sense, I still am. Like, in a sense, I think everyone is always transitioning out of some kind of blonded period in their life. Which is why I think this album is so universally relatable, because the longer you live, the longer your blonded life is, because you have more life to look back on with rose-tinted glasses. But yeah, Pink and White became my nostalgia anthem. Solo was definitely my go-to song when people flaked out on me. Nights became the perfect song to drive to in the PM. White Ferrari was definitely a big one. But yeah, if reflecting on life had a sound, it would definitely be Blonde. I'm not gonna lie, that time of my life was pretty hard. There was a lot going on. I think anyone can agree that kind of that transitional period of young adulthood is super weird. It's just like it's just a weird time, thinking about what am I even doing type shit. What am I gonna be doing? What should I be doing? How do I get to what I should be doing? How do I know that's what I actually should be doing? How come people don't talk to me anymore? Why am I spending so much time alone? And it becomes a lot. It kind of weighs down on you. School is definitely a huge stress because you got to do well right? Especially if you want to go on and do even more school. I remember there was a time where I would just be sitting at my desk and I would just be looking over what courses I needed to take just over and over again, just drafting out what I needed, when I should take them, making sure I took them, just over and over, triple checking, quadruple checking, quintuple checking, pretty much everything. But whenever I was super stressed out, I would just kind of default to blonde. Bus to school, blonde. Waiting between classes, blonde. Bus home, blonde. Laying in bed thinking about real shit. Blonde. Blonde front to back every day. I guess you could call it a form of escapism in some sense, because in listening to Blonde, I was definitely channeling my blonded life. I was definitely channeling things from the past, but not in an unhealthy way. Kind of in a way that it was reflection that kind of helped me put pieces together. Things started making sense when I looked at them in retrospect. I'm not gonna say Blonde fixed all my problems, because that isn't true, but it at least helped me frame them in a way I could understand and digest. I think what makes Blonde beautiful is that it could do this for anyone, since the experiences Frank writes and sings about are so universally applicable to everyone, or at least some of them are. I definitely haven't gone through a lot of what he writes about, but he kind of touches all the bases, regardless of where you are in life. I think you're kind of bound to relate to at least some part of this album. I definitely think universality is the language of people. People just want to be understood. They just want to relate to things, and Blonde can be that thing for you if you let it, for sure. Fine wine. I can't speak for everyone, but at least for me, and for so many others, I'd imagine it needs time to leave a significant mark on you. It takes time to truly appreciate things, I think. Not just even for music, but for everything. I think you should definitely give Blonde a try if you already haven't. It's a great album. Let the music take you where it wants to go. And if you don't enjoy it right off the bat, it could be you'll never learn to love it. Maybe it's just not your kind of music. Maybe it could take a few tries, but hey, if you get there, you get there. Anyways, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, bye.